So kindly share your association with His Grace Dr. Paulos Mar Gregorius, especially in relation to your work in publishing St. Thomas Christian Encyclopedia.
Hello. Uh, my association with Paul Vargisachan, as he was at that time the rector of the Orthodox Theological Seminary at Kottayam, starts around 1970. Uh, at that time, from 69, I was thinking of publishing a book on the Christians because most of the people who attended, including 57 bishops at the Bangalore seminar in 1969, appeared to know not much about the real history of the Nasranis or the Thomas Christians. So I decided at that time to start a book, to write a book. But gradually I found that there were so many topics to be dealt with that I could not do it all by myself. So I wanted to have the help of famous scholars who had specialized in various subjects. So I went to the Vadavadur Seminary, Kottayam. There was a scholar, Dr. Xavier Kodapura, and he was made one of the editorial consultants. But he said that if you want to know about the writers and scholars in non-Catholic churches in India, the only source is to approach Dr. Paul Verghese, that is the rector. So I went to the Orthodox Seminary. I was greeted and received very well by Dr. Paul Verghese. And when I told him that this is my attempt to make an encyclopedia on the Thomas Christians, he was very happy. And he said he would give all assistance. And he was one of the most scholarly editorial consultants. And then I asked him, I know very little about the church. I was only a teacher English. And of course, I had read a lot of books, but I was not scholar in church history. So I requested him to kindly introduce me to some of the best scholars in church history from other churches, not the Kerala churches. Of course, the Kerala churches, I knew already some of the persons, Dr. Paul Verghese, Dr. T.V. Philip, Dr. M. Thomas, and so on. So I said, I asked for his help to find out who the scholars are and also some of the topics to be included in the encyclopedia. And he gladly introduced me to some of the great scholars all over India from other churches. So this was a great help for me. And if the encyclopedia afterwards became so popular, not only in India, but abroad, because in the United States, there are 400 academic libraries having copies of the encyclopedia. This was only because it was really ecumenical, really comprehensive, and authoritative. And for this, one of my great sources was Dr. Paul Verghese. Yes.
Sir, as you rightly mentioned about the St. Thomas Christian Encyclopedia, Metropolitan Dr. Paulos Magregorius, as he was Father Dr. Paul Verghese at that time, he introduced to you many scholars, as you mentioned, from uh, the churches outside Kerala.
Yeah.
So, can you please share their names and the experiences that you had while editing this historical book?
Yeah. Because, as I said about the Kerala churches, I had some information already, and I knew some great writers already, like Hugo de Grafe, the Lutheran, Frederick Downs, the Baptist, J.R. Chandran was the principal of UTC, I think, at that time. This I knew, but there were many other churches in India about which I did not know anything at all. And I did not know any scholars who could write articles about those persons. So he introduced me to Eric Nasser, who was the moderator bishop of the Church of North India. And then he introduced me to Roger E. Headland. He wrote about evangelical missions in India. And Andrew McDermott, the Pentecostal Churches of India. And also to M.A. Said Ralston, the National Secretary, I think, at that time of the NCC. So these persons were able to give me very good articles, very scholarly articles. Actually, had they known that I am just a lecturer who knew nothing about church history and that I have nothing to do with the churches in an official manner, probably they would not have written. But probably they did not know that. And since Dr. Paul Burgess must have introduced me, saying that I am a great scholar or something, so they all wrote very good articles about their own churches and organizations. Even like Marjorie Sykes, about the Quakers, because in Kerala, very few people, I think, at that time knew about the Quakers in India. So a very beautiful and other authoritative article Marjorie Sykes wrote. Also, Doreen Hopes on the Salvation Army. So, and about the Mennonite Brethren Church of India, A.E. Jensen. So all these persons were introduced to me. I started corresponding with them, and they sent me the substance of their lifelong research in various subjects, which made the encyclopedia so popular and useful. People began to praise it very much once it was published, although I had not written any article in that.
Sir, in your book, The St. Thomas Christian Encyclopedia, uh, there are few rare pictures of Metropolitan Paulos Gregorius and one picture with EMS Namboodiripadu. So can you
Yes.
share why did you put that picture or how did you get that picture? What was the
No,
reason behind that? Yeah.
the fact is, after at that time, I had only given their names at the end of the articles. I did not even write any short notes about the others in the encyclopedia. But afterwards, in 2000, the hard copies were more or less sold and some given free. And anyway, it was over. So I thought I will publish a paperback edition so that ordinary people could buy it. The seminary students could, the scholars could buy it, doctoral scholars could buy it. So I published a reprint of the second volume dealing with the Thomas Christians. And this was titled Thomapedia. Thomapedia. And when I published this, I thought many of my authors were already dead by that time. So I should mm, give a tribute to those persons who have really helped to make this encyclopedia a success. So, two persons who were in the scholarly line most helpful to me, who were no more, were one Dr. Paul Verghese. By that time, he was the Metropolitan of Delhi. And another was E.R. Humby, Belgian, who who had also who was a scholar, and he helped also very much. So I searched for a picture of Dr. Paul Verghese as Metropolitan. I had pictures as seminary rector, but I wanted a picture as the Metropolitan. I did not have one. So my search finally extended to the Orthodox Seminary. I went there and I found, fortunately, that the librarian was one of my old students, Father Cherian. So I asked him, see, I am searching for a good picture of Metropolitan Mar Gregorius. He searched all the archives, everything, and came up with a very good picture. So he gave me that picture, probably without the permission of the rector. Anyway, I was given that picture and I printed that picture in the as the cover, on the cover. One of the pictures on the front cover was a golden statue of St. Thomas, which was in Nirnam, in the Nirnam church. When I started the encyclopedia, I was able to take some photographs, but they were all black and white. So I wanted to take a color picture of that golden statue, but I went there. The problem was to open the locker. The vicar, very old man, very venerable man, he should be there, and the trustee must be also there of the Narayan Church. It was very difficult, and finally I got both of them together in two cars I brought at the same time to the Niranan church. Together they opened the locker and showed me uh, the what is called the statue of which I printed on the cover of the Tomopedia, as you can perhaps see. Then on the back cover, I printed the pictures of our great scholars who made it a success and also some of our well-wishers. One was the Catholicos in 73, Augen the First. He came all the way to the Cardinal House in Ernakulam for the inauguration. He was the president, and Cardinal Parakatil inaugurated the work in 73, presenting the copy to Mar Augen the First. So his picture I wanted to give. And so these are some of the pictures I was able to get, and I gave. This is the picture of Paulus Mar Gregorius, which I was able to get, and it looked a very good picture. It looks like Mara Prem of Odessa, or many of those great church fathers. So I used that picture here. Of course, I have also given, as I said, the picture of Afghan Maharaugen. Yes, Maharaugen also I have given the picture here. Okay. No, I just said that that picture was a very interesting picture, and I was able to get it, and I was able to print it, and I wanted at least to show some gratitude by printing that picture at the top of the back of the encyclopedia. And again, afterwards, when I started a blog, making of the encyclopedia, so sometime afterwards, then I wanted to print a picture of Paulos Margigorius. Fortunately, I came across a very nice picture, interesting picture of Margigorius in the presence of EMS Namboodiripad, who was the chief minister at that time. And I think Margigorius was cracking a joke, and EMS was laughing loud. That was captured in that picture. So that I gave this. So there were some very good memories of Margarius in my mind always.
Sir, after publishing this book, uh, were you able to meet Mark Gregorius or discuss in detail about other projects or related things?
I cannot say about other projects I discussed, but I met him. And of course, one very good evidence for that meeting is that he wrote a very long review of the encyclopedia afterwards. This also helped to promote the book among people. With your permission, I will read one or two sentences from that review that he wrote. I want to commend to you a good reference book on Christianity in India. I know nothing better on the subject than the St. Thomas Christian Encyclopedia of India. It is compendious and comprehensive, scholarly and ecumenical. Some of the best scholars in India and abroad have contributed. There are numerous high quality illustrations and maps. It covers the whole ground: history, culture, customs, divisions, art, architecture, music, parish life, liturgical vestments, Christian traditional occupations, dance and drama, institutions, statistics. The coverage is remarkable and the reliability of the information very high. It is a tool worth having for any library, for any scholar interested in the history of Christianity, for anyone interested in understanding India and its religious heritage. Pavlos Margarios, Dr. Paul Varghese, Principal Orthodox Theological College, and sometime President, the World Council of Churches. So this review also helped to make the encyclopedia popular, not only in India, but all over the world, because he was known in very many foreign countries, and very many foreign scholars also knew about him. Therefore, when he had written this review, naturally it must have made them try to get a copy.
Sir, as you mentioned very clearly about the way Gregorius contributed in the assistance of bringing out this beautiful historical document. So, from your experience, sir, can you share few qualities that the present generation can emulate from this great personality?
There were many qualities which I had made him. One is that he was open to all opinions, not only of the Orthodox Church, but of all the churches, not only of the churches, but all the religions. So uh, I might say that he was a universal citizen in that sense, that he was actually, of course, he has experience in other countries also. I'm not going into that. So he had an open mind and he was willing to receive all scholars, encourage all scholars, and do whatever is possible to encourage Christian studies. That was one thing. This is something which is an example not only for young people, but all the religious heads and the bishops. I have always felt, because had our bishops done something to encourage the people to study the history of our own church, the culture of our church, we would have been in a much better place. As it is, Christians are not very much respected by many communities, but they think that we don't have a history, we don't have a culture. Anyway, I don't want to go further into that. As I am a Chevalier, I must be very careful in talking about such matters. So, that is one thing. Another is his love of learning. He was spending so much time, even though he was having a lot of other duties, lot of time, because of his love of learning. And the library there has many books because of his interest in procuring those books. And afterwards, after publishing the examination, encyclopedia, uh, on the seminary, they put up lot of paintings of the famous churches. As you climb the staircase on the side and all everywhere, there are a lot of beautiful sketches of the heritage churches of the Thomas Christians. This was because of his inspiration only. So there are many such things which I have found it would be good if others imitate, but I can only say that.
Thank you, sir, so much for sparing your valuable time for the interview.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, at least to share a few words about one of my great benefactors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.